Hello, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Hopefully, everyone can see us and hear us and all the rest of that good stuff. We are here, and we have a few people online tonight. We've got Victor Grabazik. I probably mangled that, and I apologise. But hello, Victor. Welcome aboard. Some weirdo called Robin, Mr. Marlowe, Drop Bear, Gaz Monster, Anthony Boyd are all with us. Hello, hello, hello.
Have we got any of our financial experts in this evening?
Yeah.
Pete and I, we dropped a new video this evening, which you haven't seen yet. I think it's well worth a look. It's our little Aeronautica trailer, and for some reason, we've attracted Bitcoin investor spam. Normally, it's just naked women, but
Yeah.
we get spam. But it's Bitcoin investor spam.
I'm not sure which I
Which,
prefer.
if comments boost the algorithm, then it's all good, because there's lots of people talking to each other about how great some bloke is at investing. It's hilarious.
It is quite funny. It is quite funny. I think I'd rather have the naked women, though, to be honest. You know, but, such is life. I'll take either, really, to be honest.
I think both are equally true.
This is true. This is very true. Hasn't it turned cold all of a sudden here in Blighty? It's got very cold.
Ooh, it's a bit. I was in Malaga this time last week, where it was nice and warm.
What's the temperature in the studio right now, Robin?
Right now it's 12. When I came in, it was 10. And when I was out here this morning, it was 8.
It's warming up. It's speeding up.
So I have got the heater on, so if anybody can hear a low whirring, that's the heater.
Whir.
I may end up turning it off, because it gets quite warm.
You need to have it on a timer switch thing so it can start to kick in half an hour before you get out
I
there.
tried that, but it's because it's anyway. It doesn't matter why, but it basically doesn't remember that it's been on when the power comes on. It's like so the plug comes on, but the heater doesn't. But maybe if I get the other one, then
there must be. I'm sure there was a way actually on that one to actually set it out for a timer or something. I was sure there was, but
there might well be. Actually, I could see a set button.
Ooh.
You think that might be it, wouldn't you?
There was a controller as well.
Sort that out for next week.
We had a controller, didn't we? If that, you just have to come out right.
God knows where that is. Didn't we lose it after about the first week?
God knows. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we did. Yeah.
You just have to go out like 45 minutes before, switch it on, and go back in the house and do the rest of your stuff.
Welcome to Heating with Pete and Robin.
Welcome to Boring Crap with Rob and Pete. But you know what? That's just that's what they're signed in for today anyway.
Pretty much. If you've not realised that's our MO by now,
then boy, have you got it.
We've got literally nothing for you.
That's how we do. Right. So
then, Pete, what was your most interesting take home from the amazing Warhammer Day preview online?
Yes, we are. Just to reiterate to anybody who is not aware of what it is we are jabbering on about tonight, we will be talking about the Warhammer Day bonanza, as it was. Maybe touch a little bit as well on the 2022 Underworlds tournament, which maybe we have to cover first. I'm not sure, but yes.
2022. That doesn't sound right, does it?
Doesn't 2022. It's 22. Oh Christ, we better get going. So there were. Yes. What was my favourite thing? Well, it's hard to say. It almost definitely isn't the Underworld's Warband reveal, which we'll come on to. I kind of looked at that and I felt nothing. It wasn't revulsion, it wasn't anger, it wasn't, oh God, I'm bored with this. It wasn't, that looks like the best thing in the world. It was just like, well, there's a thing. There it is. Like when you're a kid, like when your kids were little, and you'd come downstairs to find that whilst your back had been turned for like 5 seconds, they'll have knocked their drink or their food off and it'll just be spewed all over the floor, and you're just sitting there, you just look at it and you've got nothing left to give because you're a parent of small children, and all you think is, well, that's a thing that's just happened.
Yeah, I lost my shit yesterday in a similar related incident. My 2 sons, 16 and 9, were sorting out drinks after school, and I heard one of them knock something over, and they were discussing whose fault it was. I said, it doesn't matter whose fault it is, as long as you clear it up.
You're both in fucking trouble.
And it was, they knocked the accordion over. I said, so make sure you clear it out properly, because it'll be really sticky if you don't clear it out properly. Anyway, I wandered off to do something else. Came back about an hour later, and they basically left the bottle on its side, put a two pieces of kitchen towel on the worktop where it had spilled, and two on the floor where it had spilled, and it had made trails down the cupboard, and they just left it. That was. They said, "Oh, we thought it would soak it up." They said, and I was like, "You lazy bastards!" My son was like, "It's not my responsibility." He's like, "Well, it's not my fucking responsibility, is it?" He said, "But I didn't know it. That's you're 16. You're meant to be intelligent.
You're supposed to be the clever one." Oh wait.
Exactly. Yeah, you're cleverer than me. Clear it out.
Oh my god, that's.
And then I opened the
brilliant.
cupboard. It trailed down the inside and the outside of the cupboard. There was a little pool inside the cupboard as well.
It's also started to dry out, so it's like you've got to rehydrate almost with a wet cloth to try and then you've got to get a. Oh Christ.
That was exactly
Oh,
it. So
the
that
pain.
was my little. So that was pretty much my. Oh, and there's that moment. But anyway, I digress.
Anyway, yes, I think my favourite. It's funny because when looking at the things that they released, I think one of the things that I was most sort of interested by was some of the models in the Shadow Throne thing, but less the models. I was more interested by the implications of the Shadow Throne release, which is the Adeptus Castards versus the Gene Stealer cult models.
Yeah, I haven't looked that in depth in that because I know I don't want it.
Yeah.
And I just don't want to feel like I do want it because every time I look at Gene Stealer cult models in particular, I think, oh, they're really nice.
They
Especially
are
when
nice.
you see possibly Nerdy Rob painting them.
Oh yes. They are
But
very
I just
nice.
so I haven't really taken that in because I know that I don't want it. But I've got the preview page open on my laptop here, and it's got the little the kind of G Stealer cult with the kind of cylinder and the mine type thing. It's like, oh my god, that's so cool.
Yes.
But I don't want it.
I mustn't have it. I don't need it.
I think my favourite thing, which I also don't need, probably was the Red Harvest spider thing models. I really like those.
Someone put a comment about that in there because they said that it's a shame that the Red Harvest will be a limited run. Which, if that is the case, and I can't say I've read it, but I think they've announced some stuff on it today. If the Red Harvest run is a limited release, a limited run,
Right.
it's a bit shit. But at least, as long as they make everything available separately, I don't mind too much.
Limited runs, I think, is clearly the way that they're going. I think that's inevitable now. I don't think we're ever going to see not limited runs of the big sets anyway. Like you say, you just have to hope that they bring out something else to go with it. To go with it, follow it up.
I mean, I can see why they want to do limited runs of stuff because to keep those things takes up space, it takes up resource and all the rest of it. Whereas if they break it down and package it separately and sell it separately, it's easier to restock where they need the various parts separately without having to send massive great boxes everywhere. And it's shelf space as well at the end of the day in GW stores.
Yeah, and I think just watching how the hobby works and just from our own experience of making videos about stuff, people are only interested in the new hotness. Or when I say people, a lot of people are only interested in the new hotness. And so once that release is done, I don't think I don't know what the curve of their sales is probably like our YouTube video views.
Just sort of
And it just falls off a cliff very shortly afterwards. And that's partly because of the way they market stuff. So as soon as Red Harvest is out, they'll be pushing the next box.
Yeah.
Pretty much. But it feels that that's the way they've set things up, and so I think limited releases of these big boxes are going to be forever the way. I think the price of them now is such that it's very hard for anybody to keep up with all of them. So I think you've just got to pick your strand, maybe two if you're lucky, and play those.
Yeah, I mean, some of that, and this is probably an entire topic for us to cover one day about GW's manipulation of the market and FOMO driving people to buying these things in droves.
Yeah,
but it obviously works, and people fall for it every time. So we only kind of have ourselves to blame for that situation.
Well, we do. Yeah, we do. There's, I know you're not a massive fan, but the Discourse Miniatures channel, she, in amongst her kind of foibles, has some very good points about GW's use of FOMO. And
Yeah.
a lot of us are somewhere on the autistic spectrum, and GW are kind of abusing that, which is not entirely ethical.
But then
I do actually agree with it. I do agree with quite strongly. I don't think it's right that people should feel that they need to keep chasing whatever it is.
true. I mean, everybody does that, so it's not like GW are on their own.
Well, I
in that
know,
one,
I
so-
know that. I know, I do appreciate that, but that I don't. I suppose it's particularly. I mean, I guess everybody has a bit of FOMO, don't they? Somewhere along the line. But I think they are GWR. You know, they probably have a higher percentage of people who are autistic, for want of a better word.
They probably do have a larger portion of.
You only need to look how upset everybody gets about missing out on dice or what's the word? The special, I can't remember what they're called. The competition things you use to win the competition. The cards.
Oh yeah.
And completing their sets. It's we are that demographic.
Yeah, that is true. It's a bit like back in season 1 of Underworlds where they did all the other warbands and they didn't do Magors or Fast Riders, and people were frothing in anger that they couldn't get their promo cards for those warbands. Like, it really doesn't matter, but that's the demographic, like you say. And yeah, she has got a bit of a point there, but I mean, GW are behooving to their stockholders, so it's not like they're going to go, we found a brilliant way to make a ton of cash.
Well, yeah, I agree to a point. But I think it's I agree to a point with that, but I don't think everybody should be necessarily completely and utterly beholden to their stockholders. Well, that's because I'm a raving socialist.
Well, I agree, but you know, GW wouldn't be as big as they were without the. But anyway, that, like I say, that is a whole different subject to go into. The Warcry ones, I'm not sure. I quite like the spider model blokies, the Arachna or whatever the fucks, but the other warband.
I have no idea what they're called, but I really like them.
The Tarantulos or whatever they're called.
If they did an Underworld warband of those, I'd be made up.
They look awesome, and hopefully we'll see some. They look awesome.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the female barbarian ones at all. They all have tiny heads.
Ones.
Well, the other warband, they're all female.
Oh, are they?
I'm pretty sure they're all female, or at least a very large proportion of them are all female, because they've got the leader in the warband looks a bit
they're
like.
not all female. They're definitely not all female.
They're not all female.
Beard.
Okay, probably not that one. As a good point, there is the dude with the big sword holding the head. So, but there are a larger proportion of the models are female than I think in previous like warbands of these types. They are mixed. Like the leader looks like Thedra after a few years.
Yes.
It's not been kind to her time. But a lot of the models, the heads seem too small. Really tiny. I'm not a massive fan of them.
I quite like the poses. I don't know about their heads.
Poses are okay, but there's one.
I see what you mean. I suppose that's what happens if you spend too much time down the gym and not enough time reading books.
One of them, they had the silhouette where it's holding the axe around and it's sort of like shouting. I think that is meant to be a woman, that one, because of the way they've got the leather armour. You can't really quite tell because of the pose, but it's just the head looks freaking tiny, man.
Is that the one with the red hair?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one does look a bit odd.
That head's just too small.
I think it's okay. I've no idea whether it's a man or a woman. It's a bit difficult to tell.
The male models, the proportions seem better. Like there's a dude who's got his sword up at his side and he's got long dark hair. He looks more like a classic barbarian pose from Hero Quest. And the proportions on that one look, I mean the arms are obviously ridiculously oversized and whatnot, but the head looks more proportioned. But yeah, some of them just look really... Overall, I'm not massively...
Some people do just have small heads, Pete, and I think you should just have to accept that.
I do like the Tarantulos model, whatever they're called. I do like them. Yeah, they are called the Tarantulos Brood. The only thing I'm not so much a fan of is everything about them looks awesome, apart from the weapons. It's like everything's batshit mad about the model. And then the weapons are also even more batshit mad. It's like with everything else going on, the weapons could have just been like curved scimitars or whatever like that, but they're like, this sword's got to have 6 different blades coming out of it.
I know what you mean, but they're like spidery, aren't they?
Yeah.
I quite like them.
Right.
I think they're not too over the top, but they are a little bit, like, as you say, wacky.
Yeah, so...
I would love an Underworld's warband, like maybe 4 of them or something.
I'd love a Tarantulos warband, yeah, I would definitely love that. And the scenery looks quite nice, but again, I love the idea that they've got this like the I don't know what I can't remember what you call it now, but like it's like not workbench where they move along it. Brain just not coming up with words today.
Sorry, I'm not. I've no idea what you're talking about. I was reading the comments. I missed the beginning of your conversation. I can't pick it up.
I like the scenery. It's all right. It's not
Oh,
too
the
bad.
scenery. Yeah, I like the idea of it, but I'm not sure I actually like it. I don't think I'd actually want to play with it. If that makes sense.
I'm not sure I'd want to paint it. That's for sure.
No, no. I actually want to make a marble run out of it.
Mining sluice. Thank you, Mr. Morph. Yeah, it's more like a mining sluice type thing. But yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be quite a cool marble run.
They did
But it would be
preview
a
today.
very, very expensive one.
Yeah, they did preview today a lot of the stats for the tarantula stuff and their abilities. We're not going to cover those in detail, but it's you know, they look cool. They look cool, but the other stuff, Dungeon Bowl, I kind of looked at. I was never a massive Dungeon Bowl player, and
No,
it's like
Dungeon Bowl almost completely passed me by. I don't know when it first came out, whether it was in after I'd stopped being as interested in hobby. But I know very little about it. But I didn't really like Blood Bowl, so that perhaps I just ignored it.
yeah, possibly that one depends a lot more on the rules for the game, as in
Yeah, I was
uh,
thinking that. I'm kind of semi-interested, but I've just got a feeling that the rule set isn't going to be there for it.
the
I
one
could be
good
wrong.
thing. One good thing that would be in that case is because we already have multiple Blitz Bowl teams. And I'm not sure whether this fits the Blitz Bowl sort of spec, but if they did, that would be quite cool.
Yeah, that would be great. I mean, the models are going to be good. I mean, we were talking about on our Patreon Discord that the Blood Bowl models are particularly fine. Even the standard ones, well, not the standard ones, but the ones that you can get whether you're playing Blitz Bowl or Blood Bowl. The models are great. Check out Milky's in tonight. I've seen him. Check out his Milky Pates on Instagram for some cool halflings.
Although the teams do look like they're mixed, so it's like you get some Skaven and Dark Elves on one team, and then the other team's got.
Yeah, well, I think the Wizards can pick. I read the blurb. The Wizards pick who they want, which would lend itself to if you did have some collection of Blood Bowl models, you could just pick from
Pick
two or
the
three
ones
teams.
you like or whatever. Yeah.
You would need like to have full teams.
So that one again, it was like, sort of interesting, but I saw it's got a range ruler, which kind of puts me off a little bit. It's like, who still uses range rulers?
Yeah, I think I know that there's mileage in rebranding old IP. I feel like I wanted to see, and I would want to see a new game. I think.
Defcon says there are 8 wizards in total with different mixed teams, so
Okay.
it's depending on what you've got.
College or something.
Sorry?
That one for each college, when there
Must
are 8
be.
colleges.
Yeah, it must be, yeah. One for each of the Winds of Magic or whatever. So Dungeon Bowl I was kind of okay, whatever, I'm not that interested in. That definitely doesn't pique my FOMO, so I'm okay with missing on that one. And we're going to be rubbish at this, by the way. We're just going to be looking at everything, go, yeah, not interested on everything. We're not going to be sitting there going, oh my god, about every single thing that they've released. The Maggotkin, there's going to be a new Battle Tome coming out. The Battle Tome, whatever, I don't really care about that. I don't mind the model. The model looks quite funky, but again, don't collect Nurgle, so not.
No, I didn't even. I was so uninterested in the AOS announcement. I didn't even look at it.
It's literally a new Battle Tome,
Right.
and this Nurgle model, which is sort of cool. I quite like the fact that the model has alternate heads. You can either have this fly head or like the half covered face, but other than that, it's an okayish model.
Yeah.
Nothing
What about
that.
the Christmas model? Are you excited about the Christmas model?
Did they actually announce that on Warhammer Day, or did they announce that later on?
They announced there was like a teaser, and then they unteased it the next day.
Yeah, I quite like the model, but
2 days later.
it's another one of those things where it's like I've never bought a single Christmas seasonal limited edition GW model ever, so I won't be starting now.
I think I bought 2, and they're still in the shrink, and so I realised not to buy any more. And I've never bought a Christmas one. Of all the Christmas ones they've done, this is the one I would most likely buy if I was a millionaire. But I'm not, so it's well down the list of things to do.
It's definitely one of the most interesting ones they've done. One of the coolest looking ones, but yeah, I definitely wouldn't be buying that one. Rosa's in. Hello, Rosa. Hello, Eris Ferns. Hope you're okay, Rosa, after your prang today in your car.
Oh yes, that was a bit mean.
Moore says
More
that he's in on the Blitz.
and Blitz Bowl groups going to be mashing up Blitz Bowl and Dungeon Bowl, Dungeon Blitz.
Blitz Dungeon.
Okay, Ballroom Bowl, and then you can have Ballroom Blitz. Strictly Come Dancing meets Blood Bowl. There we go. There's a concept.
A shit one, but a concept.
Well, I've seen worse mashups for games.
We've seen worse things come out of GW. So you know.
What haven't we done yet? We haven't done choreography and carnage. That's your name. Choreography and carnage.
Carnageography.
Carnageography.
Looking at the Shadow Throne one. I mean, the models in there are a standard box of like Gene Stealer Cult, and then some Adeptus Custards. Now, the thing that I think is really stupid about this box, right, is that it's got like about a dozen Gene Stealer Cult things in there. It's got this one that's got the detonation charge thing.
Yep.
It's then got 3 Adeptus Custards in there. Now, your average custard is meant to be like better than 50 Marines or whatever that is, and like 1 Marine's meant to be better than like 50 like regular soldiers or whatever. So those 3 custards there are like worth 150 people by the spiel, but you get 3 of them in the box, you only get like 12 Gene Stealer Cult. So by my reckoning, they are massively outnumbered. But that goes back to the whole spiel of GW fluff versus the actual selling point of the game.
Yeah, I haven't analysed it in that level of detail.
Also, but, the new custom model is like, oh good, they've got a new model that no one wanted.
Excuse me. I know nothing about them really, other than they're quite hard and overpowered in Kill Team.
Yeah, it's pretty much it. It's like they're meant to be, the protector of the Emperor, and one of them is meant to be better than like a dozen Marines or whatever. And
right.
As we all know, Marines are meant to be better than 100 regular soldiers, and you only need 20.
Average bear.
Yeah. So to have 3 of them means that they massively outclass the other side. But anyway,
that does make sense to me what you're saying. But maybe you just take the Glitch Jesus off the front, and put them on the back, and they just keep coming. More and more of them.
So
this is nothing to do with the preview at all. But we were talking about IP, GW remaking IP. I wonder why they've never remade Dark Future. I would have thought now with plastic technology, they could make some really cool cars.
I guess it's the IP side of it.
And remake Dark Future.
I think there's the IP side. It's a bit too Mad Maxy and generic. They'd have to make it.
But they could do easy enough, couldn't they? They could make their own. They did the Orc one.
Yeah, they did Speed Freaks.
Yeah, I'm so. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I reckon they could do that. They could put it into the Necromunda universe somehow, or I don't know what. They could do Aeronautica. They could do cars. Hex-based car game, Pete. That's what you want, isn't it?
Oh.
Excuse me, I'm just choking over here. I've got a drink.
Oh dear, Robin's just going to choke to death. And we can all watch it live on the stream.
Yeah, get the views up.
That'll get the views up. If you're enjoying this evening and our random chat, and you've got anything you want to say, do stick in the chat. Do give us a like and a thumbs up, obviously. And don't forget to ring that bell, because if you don't ring that bell, you won't see when we go live or when we release new stuff.
Ash Wastes could work for Necromunda.
Oh, yeah.
Who's Ash Wastes?
I don't know, but you shouldn't waste so much, because, we have to look after the planet these days.
That's very true.
Ash Waste's nomad kind of thing, yeah, you could do that. You could have something along those lines where they could salvage bits from Imperial Guard tanks and vehicles out in the wastes and whatnot. But yeah, there's a ways and means.
I just think it would be quite cool, regardless of the IP-ness of it. I guess there isn't any. I know there's Gaslands, the game, but that's like a small book and doesn't come with models.
Yeah, but I guess it's the GW. You have to make things. Everything looks GW-y, doesn't it? Yeah. GW has a definite look and stuff.
Yeah, I feel that's doable.
Yeah.
That's doable. I mean, the barbarians, for example, that they've just brought out aren't particularly anything. Not. They're fairly generic, even though they're called Dark Oath.
They still have a kind of. I don't know. They still have a kind of GW-iness to them because they look a bit like the Godsworn Hunt ones and stuff like that, I guess.
Yeah, but GW have a style, and I think they could apply that to whatever they were doing. They wouldn't have to do make their cars look like Matchbox cars, would they? They could make them do what they like.
Yeah,
they could do what they like. They could invent an entire new world where everybody just races around all the time.
True, this is true. So I feel like maybe now is the time for us to talk about the new ogre, the ogre in the room.
The ogre in the room.
And talk about, I don't even know what his name is. What is his name? Black Powder.
No. Yeah, I don't know, but he hasn't got a hat.
He hasn't, which is a massive, massive failure on GW's part, I feel.
I have to say, I don't think I've ever been so underwhelmed by a Warband announcement.
I think not since Rippers have I gone.
Rippers, I wasn't this underwhelmed. I feel a bit bad for that, and I have a number of reasons why.
At least when we saw Rippers, we started thinking, what happens if the wolves do something different?
Yeah,
there was something there. This is just, it's an ogre.
And I feel bad for that. I want to be excited for Harrowdeep. Yeah. But I just have so many questions. I mean, my first question is, if this thing is in a subterranean dungeon, it's underneath the sea, what the bloody hell is he shooting a pistol for or whatever? Because they're just going to, chip through the ceiling or something and they're all going to drown. That's my first one.
He's going to shoot at something, they're going to duck, it's going to hit the window, they'll be like, great.
Yeah.
Just great.
That's my first one. The second one, if he's a pirate, why does he want to get off his boat and go underground?
Well, they've got to go to land at some point and bury all their booty.
Yeah, but he wouldn't he'd hate it under there, wouldn't he? And he's an ogre as well. I'm not going to go in that subterranean area. It would make more sense if he was a dwarf.
His sword also looks very uncutlassy.
Yeah, and again, not very practical in a small confined space. I don't
think ogres care about that though. Yes, Rossa, there is another ogre. The latest Warband to come out is an ogre. 2 of their grot thingamawatses with noblars, a fucking monkey, and a parrot.
Somebody said I think a dragon ogre could be next for Harrowdeep.
Oh God, I hope not.
That would be. I loved the idea of dragon ogres when they were first announced. I used to have some.
Used to have some of the dragon ogres, the metal models.
I got a feeling that the models they announced them in, were they a Realm of Chaos?
Possibly, yeah.
I can't remember when they first announced them. I feel like when they first announced them, the models didn't come out for years afterwards. I feel like.
I remember they did like a big hero-y one. I can't remember if it was Forge World only or if it was just a general one. It was gigantic, and it was. It did look impressive. It did look very nice. But yeah, so you've got this ogre, which is it's just an ogre. It doesn't even look particularly piratey. It's got some boots on, and it's got like a trench coaty type thing, and it's got a beard. But where's the pirate hat? Where's the patch?
I feel like maybe a hat and a patch would have been a cliche too far, but one or the other.
And a wooden leg, all of them. Fuck it, go all out.
And a hook.
Yeah. I mean, a hook. I mean, come on. It could have had a massive, great big meat hook kind of thing on instead of... It's just shit. Yeah. And then this monkey is just... I don't feel it. I just don't feel it on the monkey front.
I don't really feel it. I have to say, I feel like... I don't know, this is kind of, like we've said at the time, it's Hrothgorn 2.0 or whatever. We're never particularly enamoured with Hrothgorn. He isn't quite so bad as Hrothgorn because he can't keep shooting that gun, can he? Because he has to get swag tokens or something.
I took a picture of his his character card. Let me bring it up.
Okay.
So yes, this fight cannot make an attack action with the Grunderbus. Fucking Grunderbus. Cannot make an attack action with it unless you first discard 1 swag counter, and at the start of the game you gain 1 swag counter.
Sorry,
doesn't tell you.
The other thing that's really annoyed me about this warband is that it's so like Grunderbus. What does that even mean? And it's the Black Powder's Buccaneers, which is like, that's just. I feel like they've really scraping the bottom of the name writing barrel. Anyway,
yeah.
Sorry.
No, I agree. It doesn't actually mention how he gets new swag tokens. So I presume that the mechanic in his deck is going to be things that get him
Swag. Maybe killing things gets swag, or
yeah,
maybe
because it doesn't mention anything on his
glory
card.
swag.
Because he only inspires if you discard your second or subsequent swag counter, so he's got to make 2 attacks with his Grundabus. Fucking hell.
Grundabus.
So once he's done that, then he inspires, but it doesn't say how he does this. So that's all a bit shit as far as I'm concerned. That doesn't excite me. That just annoys me. And then it's just.
We're very negative this evening, aren't we?
I don't like it. I don't like it at all. It could have been so much more piratey, and it's just poo. It's basically like the Man Trappers as well. James Powditch has just said it is very much like the Man Trappers.
I mean, even they had a guy with a big arrow. They've got a guy with a rope and a anchor.
Looks like an anchor or a grappling hook or something.
Yeah, and then is that this kind of trap type thing? It just feels a bit unoriginal, and I'm not really. Somebody said on our Patreon Discord that they've done all the archetypes now, so they need to kind of mix things up, but they can't go too far out from what they've already got and what's already in the lore and everything. But for me, there's too many monsters now.
Yeah, too many big guys. Yeah,
too many beasts, and maybe obviously they've introduced this new beast keyword, so maybe they're keen to beast things up. But I mean, here we've got a bird, we've got a monkey, we've seen another bird already in the other one. I just feel like it's just, and they're not that interesting to me. They're all kind of the same. I mean, we had the fish and the crab, which I know everybody went crazy over. Maybe it's everybody's gone mad over the fish and the crabs, and we've got to keep making new creatures. But for me,
the fish I thought was okay because the fish had that quite unique function about him in that you could place the token, the shoal token, and they could appear in different places. The crab was just, it was just a beast, so it couldn't hold objectives. It was just something. It had that little scuffle mechanic.
Quite interesting, but I just feel like I don't want my warbands to be too
gimmicky
things with legs and an animal.
Yeah, I agree. I think they could have made the pirate. For a pirate theme, they could have done so much better with this. Yeah. And
James Powditch likes the warband, so we're not. We should announce that not everybody likes the same thing. So all good if you do like it, because somebody's got to.
Well, yeah. I mean, if people like it, great. I personally am just a bit bored with it. We could get more dwarves. We could have more Skaven. I mean, crying out loud, one of the most varied races next to the Chaos chapter in general. You've got Skaven. They've got a Skaven for everything, and we've had one bloody warband in 5 seasons so far.
Yeah, the Anthony Boyd has made the best call of the night so far, which is the monkey might have a fling poo mechanic. Which
if it does, then I will be up.
Entertains me greatly. That might bring us round.
Yeah. Only if. I mean, they could have done even like the Dark Elf Corsairs or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping to see in the pirates. I didn't think we'd see vampire pirates or vampirates, but I would have liked to have seen some sort of
Well, I know a lot of people were interested in the vampirates because they came out in Warhammer Total War and they were really good in that, and everybody loved that, I think. And so there's like,
I mean, they are cool. They would be cool, but I wasn't expecting that. I didn't think they would do that.
Yeah.
But I definitely wasn't expecting another ogre. Because that means I'm a bit lost on the roadmap now. So there's going to be 4 warbands for this kind of season.
Yeah, we have the ogre coming out Q1, and we have a rivals pack coming in Q1. Safe to say they're probably both going to come out end of January when there is the competition.
The competition,
So it'll be coming out the same day as that. Both of those are coming out. So that's the very start of Q1. Then we've got to wait till Q2, which I'm guessing is going to be at the earliest April, maybe May, possibly the half term in May time, when they're going to release the new core box and another warband.
Right. So that other warband is part of this, and then there's a new core box, and it sort of starts again. But I was just thinking that means.
No one knows. It doesn't really say, because it doesn't say in the spiel that this new core box is a new season.
That'd be 3 warbands, which seems a bit
It
I
does,
liked.
but it also seems a bit weird that they're going to release a Warband for one season and then bring out another core box / new season box in the same
Yeah,
quarter.
I mean, I reckon we'll probably be something like beginning of April, end of June for the two things. If that makes sense. There's a big gap between
Could be.
them. Still be in the quarters. But the point I was trying to make, and I derailed myself, was that we've had now two destruction warbands and one order warband. So one of the other factions is going to miss out. But then we're not going to get. I thought we would get a nice round 4 warbands.
I'd hope that too.
Each Grand Alliance, but we're obviously not.
No. I mean, I don't know what we're going to get. I still hope there's going to be a Skaven warband coming out. I suspect it'll be the Umbraneth or whatever they are, and I kind of would be okay with Umbraneth as well.
I reckon Umbraneth, and I've seen, this isn't necessarily an original thought, because I think I've seen somebody else say it before. I think the Umbraneth are going to be in the next box, the big box.
Yeah, could be. So, but I don't know what we're going to get.
Maybe they'd be Umbraneth versus Skaven, Pete. That'd be good, wouldn't it?
I mean, that'll help. Although there's this whole question mark over what is this new core war box? Is it a whole new season starting off? If it's a whole new season, I think at that point I'm probably out, because I can't be bollocks to try and track all the poxy cards with a 6-month rolling reboot.
Well, I don't think. See, this is the thing. People get very. I'm very sanguine about it. People get very worked up about it. I don't think they're going to change. They might call it a new season, but I don't think they're going to change how often stuff rotates out. So I think it will be a 2-year cycle, whatever they do.
Possibly.
I still think it'll be a 2-year
But then
cycle.
it's going to be like 4 seasons.
I usually am wrong, but I don't think there's any mileage in them in making it a 1-year cycle.
Well, apart from they can sell more stuff.
Well, yeah, but I think like you, people will just say, no, I'm not doing that.
True, but I'm a lot less FOMO than a lot of people out there. But maybe they'll
But
get more fed
there's
up.
plenty of other games out there, and I think I just don't think they'll do that. I think they'll keep the same
Possibly.
blocks. What would be interesting if they change the rules too much, because that will be tedious.
That's one of the things that would annoy me, is if there's a new core box, then you're going to buy that. You're going to get all the poxy tokens and dice and shit again.
Yeah, I did do a little video about that,
And-
and that's rubbish. Especially as we're thinking about our cardboard use and plastic use and all
Exactly.
that kind of stuff.
Exactly. So that would annoy me. But also,
if they change the rules, then you've got like, because the rules pack for this new tournament coming out is like you've got to have all the stuff. Well, if they change the rules even slightly, have you then got to have that kit in order to compete? Which again would be rubbish.
Yeah. So for me, how they handle this next core box when it comes out is going to be really what makes me decide how much more I want to play this game.
Yeah, I hope it's just literally the same game, just 2 warbands packaged together.
Really,
but I'm still unhappy about the fact that it might come with tokens, because I've already got enough tokens.
we have more than enough tokens and dice
To start my own token shop.
and objective markers and all that shit.
Especially they're largely irrelevant, the objective markers these days.
They just need to have. They don't even need to have artwork on. I mean, yeah, the artwork's kind of slightly nice, but you know what? You could just get. It just needs a big number on it that's not visible from the other side, and then that's it. That's all you need. The ones that the Hobby Hermit does look more useful now, because as we saw, Mr. Marlowe's dad had scanned in the gloom thing and put it on the other side of the thing, so that actually worked quite nicely in that new sort of setup. Cool. But yeah, the last year hasn't helped my enthusiasm for the game, and to hear that they've gone, I know last year we released a lot really fast, but what we're going to do this year to make up for it is release stuff faster. It kind of feels like, despite the fact I know we're not getting a warband until January now.
But it's not faster, is it? If anything, it's slightly slower.
It is, apart from the fact that this whole possible new season coming out midway through, every 6 months is. It's
a bit odd that quarter 2 is going to have a new box with 2 warbands and a new warband. That's 3 warbands in one quarter, which that's fast. I mean, I actually, like I say, I don't think it's going to change things very much. The actual release number of warbands released in a year will be the same.
Possibly not.
So from a point of view of the amount of stuff you need to buy, I don't think it's going to change that much. But I'm worried that there is going to be like even an insignificant rules change, only a slight rules change, and that means you have to buy the box, and I think that would be rubbish.
It's even worse when it's a small rules change, because like the things about power step where your opponent now gets dibs first before you and things like that, small tweaks which actually could make a big difference that no one notices because the fuckers don't ever release a set of here are the changes in this new season. So the boxes are now not suitable enough for existing players because they don't detail what's new and what's different, and it's also not basic enough for a brand new starter picking up to then work out what's going on. And there's so many boxes flying around. Anybody who comes into Underworlds now, they're like, what should I buy? And you know, in about 5 months time it's going to be like, do I buy this new?
More confusing. Somebody made the really good point, and I haven't actually gone back to have a look and check, but it barely talks about what the numbered objectives are for now, and you don't get, I think, any numbered objective cards. Maybe one or I can't remember, but almost zero, no more than 2 numbered objective cards in the entire box. So it's almost like this. If you've come new to the game, you're like, well, what does it matter what these have got numbers on?
Yeah, do I have to put them down in this order?
Back in Shadespire and Nightvault days, you all got your hold objective 1, hold objective 2, supremacy, the tactical ones. You kind of knew that they had some purpose, and that purpose has gradually been eroded, but they haven't taken the numbers away because they can't. Which leaves new people thinking, well, what the bloody hell does that mean? Why is that significant? Because I think it almost is entirely insignificant if you're just playing Harrowdeep.
Yeah, it is very much that. And they also, I think they remove the whole detail about playing a best of 3 from the main rule book.
I believe so, yes.
So as far as your average person playing the game is concerned now, this is a single play game. You play one game, that's it. It's not until they then get to a tournament setting where they then find out about how to play best of 3s or why you play best of 3s at all or anything like that.
I think, to be fair, it was always done like that, and then it was, if you want to play tournaments, you do it best of 3.
Possibly.
I think they've kind of separated that out. I don't necessarily see that as a bad thing.
No, but it's just...
The tournament rules are so... Well, I don't know if they are that different, but they're kind of a thing of their own now, and they're quite thick. And I think where you draw the line, I don't know. So I think in some ways, not having anything about tournaments in the book, I think is probably on balance better.
I did see someone mentioning that they've changed multiplayer rules. We hadn't noticed that because we hadn't really looked at multiplayer, but it's like if you have 3 players, you only get 3 activations around, and if you have 4 players, you only have 2 activations around. Also, there's a limit to how you can place the boards. You can't just sandwich somebody between 2 other boards, I think. So again, more stuff where you're just not going to notice if you're an older player. So
you only get 2 activations per round in a 4-player game.
I think so, because if you had 4, it would just take years.
I appreciate it would take a lot longer, but of 2 activations, it hardly seems worth turning up.
Well, I mean, if there's going to be 4 of you,
especially if you've got an action you want to do when you're fighters.
Well, you're going to have to plan it better, aren't you? I guess the thing is, with 4 people, there's going to be a lot more people kicking each other's heads in or something.
True.
So, anyway, digress a bit from the Warband. The Warband itself, not a massive interest in. The whole game, I think we're mostly going to probably stick to Rivals formats and just play that.
I think so. I haven't really looked at the deck building aspect of Harrowdeep yet. I enjoyed the Rivals games we played. I guess as more data comes in, we might start to see certain warbands being better than others. I hope that we had the games are balanced. I've enjoyed them because you haven't got to think too much about what you're doing.
It felt very much like the earlier days in season 1 and 2 for us, where we were still very much learning the whole deck building thing to an extent. There wasn't quite so much meta analysis and really deep thought going into some of it, for us anyway. I'm sure I know a lot of other people out there, your Amans and your Tony's I can't remember his name.
Tommy?
Sorry?
Tommy's
and yes, Carlin. So they were obviously thinking at a much deeper level. We weren't, or at least we were thinking about. We were getting into it much slower than they were because they had more time to dedicate
very
to
quiet, actually. I haven't seen anything from Steel City.
Yeah, but when we played Rivals format, it felt much more like those days where you'd almost have your deck. You pick your cards up and you'd be like, "Oh, what have I got? Oh, okay. Do I get rid of these? don't know. I don't know what else is in there. I might as well, stick with what I've got, and I don't really care too much. I'll just play it and see how I get on.
Yeah, I think I probably need to fully enjoy it. I need to do a little bit more thinking and looking at actually what cards are in there, so you do know what's coming. I think to get otherwise it can be a bit. I don't like that feeling of do I throw these away? Well, I've no idea. 'Cause I have no idea what's in there in the deck. My other problem with Rivals, and it's kind of like I guess you have to take the rough with the smooth, is that there are a couple of cards in the Truth Seekers in particular which are really just bad.
Yeah.
And so if you're gonna,
I feel everyone's going to have that though.
you can't say, well, I want to be able to get rid of that one, but I don't want to do deck building because obviously that is deck building. So, but I for me, I think I talked about this last year. I think there's just too many cards. I actually wouldn't mind an element of choice, but I don't really want the massive element of choice that you get from a full
massive element of choice
in rotation. How is the Dead Zone set coming on, gents? VJ said, "Well, I haven't got one, so I don't know. We have got where's it gone? That's the other side, isn't it? We have got Overdrive, which Mantic sent us, which we will be appearing soon. We've got some Blitz Bowl to play. We've got a guest in the studio this week, and then we've got some Blitz Bowl to play. But then the week after that, we play Overdrive and see how that goes.
We've got some another game that we need to get a game recorded for, which incorporates hexes that we need to play. So it's in our backlog. Although, I mean, I can't remember, you spoke to the Dead Zone people and they said that they were going to send us one.
Well, they did say, and they sent us Overdrive, but and then hopefully they're going to send us. He thought you were going. Well, I think they are going to send one, but I think they were out of review copies, and then I haven't followed up with the Overdrive. I haven't done the Overdrive thing yet because I've been away. I did open it this week and have a good look inside. So I think we're on the list, but I guess if I was the guy sending us, if I just sent us Overdrive and we hadn't done anything with it, I'm not sure I'd send out a Dead Zone just yet, so we'll see.
True. I mean, we are, like I say, we've got Blitz Bowl, we've got this other hex-based fantasy thing we want to play, we've got some Crisis Protocol we want to play, we've got Overdrive,
Everything.
Fire Team, there's also, just on the shelf behind you, just to your right, Aeronautica Imperialis. Very interested in playing some more of that one.
Yes.
But yeah, we were thinking about possibly playing a game of of Dead Zone. We have talked about playing a bit more off camera, so that we can play games without having to try and get things to a standard that we can record a game of, and just playing something which we can just do what we like with, and then we can maybe form an opinion on it after that and see. So that might be something we start doing, because we're definitely taking things a lot more relaxed in our approach to the channel these days.
Yeah, speaking of which, I'm off. Bye.
Seth Levine says Bladeborn. Couldn't possibly say.
A hex-based fantasy game.
Hex-based fantasy game.
That comes out in November. Seems very unlikely it's Bladeborn.
That might have things to do with Warcry in it.
Yeah.
Definitely looking forward to Bladeborn. That looks really good fun. In fact, I don't know why I'm saying it looks really good fun, because we played it. It was really good fun.
It was good fun, yeah. We can't say too much about it yet,
no.
But it was good fun. I just realised I haven't written up the other one we sent. The cooperative one. I need to write that up. Too much work to do. Typing takes a long time.
What cooperative one was that?
The GW one with the Space Marine, the one we played.
Oh yes,
right.
Yes.
I need to write it up.
The Space Marine Adventures one.
Also need to write God Tier up too.
Oh yes, God Tier. That was a sad one.
Sad.
Yeah.
Well, not enough people watched the video.
Just no one watched it.
No, it's a shame, because it's a really enjoyable game. So, but I have heard on the grapevine that they're going to try and give it a bit of another kickstart. Not literally a Kickstarter, but actual inject some life into it. So maybe we'll be in and around that if they do that. That'd be good.
Because we're not just playing stuff that gets views, but I mean, on the weight of if we do something for YouTube, views are going to take some kind of factor
Well, it
there.
is nice. It is nice to get the views.
Yeah.
Because it's
Yeah, if you, I mean, if you're going to spend 3 hours
human nature,
editing a
I think.
video, you kind of
Yeah.
want something. And if it's like a case of, well, we could play God Tier and get 100 people watch it, or we could play a game of Bladeborn and maybe get 300 people watch it or whatever.
Especially for you, because I turn up and play the games, and obviously I have a bit of a laugh, but you actually do all the editing as well, which is another million hours of effort. 340 people have watched the full game of God Tier.
Have they? It's a lot more than I thought. But it's about a month. It's been out a month now, hasn't it?
24th of October it was published. So not,
I'm quite surprised. But, yeah.
94.7% of people liked it.
Good.
So the Phantom thumbs downer was there.
Yay. I hope they're doing well. I hope they found a Mrs. Thumbs Downer to thumbs down stuff together.
Yes. I don't know what to say about that. I think it was rude.
This one says there's a lot of hype on God Tier, but he's heard nothing. People say it gets no YouTube views, gets people just playing. No, I think it's just one of those things that people just, they just play it, they don't watch it. I think watching videos of games is a very GWE thing. I just get that feeling, because if you look up a lot of other games,
seems to be,
people don't go out of their way to go and watch
even
Monopoly or whatever.
Some of the like Marvel Crisis Protocol don't get messy.
Yeah, I mean, our channel's not a very good indicator of that, because YouTube hates us, so we don't get many views on whatever we do. But
Pete's quite bitter about YouTube. He thinks it's a person that hates.
It is. It's a person, someone who just sees our videos and goes, nope.
No, YouTube doesn't hate us, but
Does.
the evidence suggests that it does.
Stand by that. Stand by that accusation. YouTube's a horrible person. But there's no other channel, so there we go. Sorry?
I hurt my back today.
How is your back?
It's all right. I just tweaked it. I just twisted and tweaked it.
Much painkillers. Get some cocodamol.
It isn't that bad, so hopefully I can hold off those. I've just had some ibuprofen, and that seems to have helped.
For a while, I can't remember what they were. At one point, I did my back in, and I got some tablets. I can't remember if they were going with a P or a V. I don't remember, because I was really off my fucking face once I took them. But the doctor prescribed me some painkillers, and I got 2 packs. Like, I only got through a quarter of a pack before my back pain cleared up, but they were great, so I kept them. I kept them for years. Every time I had a bit of a twinge. Sorry?
I hurt my back. I hurt my back quite not that badly, but I was in a lot of pain about nearly 10 years ago now, and they didn't give me anything. Just told me to go home and rest. I was in pain. I couldn't stand up. I was all right if I sat down, all right if I stood up, but I couldn't transition between one and the other.
So when you have a heavy leg day in the gym, you just can't stand up and you can't sit down. But once you're standing or sitting, that's fine.
BJ says he hasn't watched the Bat Rats, but he got the impression we enjoyed Fly Around because I didn't play Adeptus. No, it's not called Adeptus, is it? Aeronautica Imperialis or Fly Aroundicus.
But he has ordered 2 boxes.
I was really taken with it. I've done a little video about it actually, which I haven't edited yet. But for me, it ticked the boxes that X-Wing ticked, apart from being Star Wars.
But some of the ships do look Star Warsy. In
quite a simple format, and it was just really enjoyable. And it looks, particularly if you get John Grant's models, it looks fantastic.
Yeah, really does. It was simple to play. It had enough tactics with it when you have to decide your manoeuvres at the beginning in secret before you know what your opponent's done. Where you had to have that bit of a thought about what am I going to do, what's coming up, where do I want to try and position myself. So that really worked nicely. But once you actually got past that initial, what do I want to do, what manoeuvres do I want to give them, and you flip, and you just start taking turns to move. There was no more real complexity involved. Obviously, when you reveal, I've got to move this person, and I need to, work out which way I want to send them. You've only got 1 of 2 directions when you've got your manoeuvres, So it's like, well, I can either go left or right, and then I've got to turn around and go a bit more in that direction. So, you know, there's very limited decision making at that point, but it was very nice to have that. You know, all the worry was taken out of it once you got past that first step. So it's just like, well, I've picked to do a loop-the-loop with this person, and that's the most stupid thing he could be doing right now after that other plane's moved right up in front of it. But that's what he's picked, so fuck it. There's not much I can do about it now. You know.
Deep heat, ibuprofen and rest. Wolfman Gas says, well, I will take. I shall go get some deep heat tomorrow.
Still trying to think what the drugs were that the doctor gave me.
I think the game is, because you've only played a very simple game, haven't you? There's no, and you didn't play with altitude because you can change the altitude and things, which we didn't play, or you didn't play.
Didn't play it, not on purpose, just because there was no real need to.
So I thought you didn't. Well, I thought John chose not to play.
I mean, he might have deliberately chosen not to play it. I just didn't really think about doing it because it didn't seem like there was much point in trying to do it for me.
Okay, fair enough.
So
I think you're fine. You were playing without the rules, so that's probably why you didn't think of it.
Well, it was just, we talked about the fact you could go up and down in altitude, and that if you were at a higher or lower altitude to the other person or whatever, it impacted your chance to hit. And I thought, well, I don't want to make things worse to hit because I only hit on 5s anyway, so I might as well stay around. And that was another good thing about it, is that a lot of the time it's just you need 5s to hit. If they're at a higher or lower altitude, you need 6s to hit. If they're 2 above you or below you, you can't hit them. That's it. There you go. Have at it.
Yeah, it does seem quite straightforward in that respect. I was a little bit alarmed to see that the planes all have different munitions options and special rules you can add points for. I started to get kill team twitches, which again you didn't really play with much of that either, did you? But I think it is simple. I think it's as complicated as you want to make it, but it's not like it's not baked in. So if you don't want to make it complicated, you don't have to. Whereas, like the kill team, complexity is baked in to the new warbands, new teams at least. There's nothing you can do about it.
And with the planes, it's like if you want to
play with special rules, but
yeah, it's like with the planes. If you've got 10 points left over, you can just give all the planes the same upgrade to get you to your points limit or whatever. So they all get hunter killer missiles or something, and then you haven't got to think about that.
There are some cards that you need. We don't need, but you can buy them. That always makes you twitchy as well. But the cards were still available on the GW website, so maybe they've got the right level of stock.
The thing that made me twitch about that is because I didn't know the cards were just the plane stats.
Right. So they're just a handier version of
of what's in the book. So you could just easily scan the book, or if you get the EPUB version of it, just print out the bits you needed, and that was it. And for me, I thought that it was cards, like it was, because they call them something like ace something or others. They make it sound like they're special characters, or that they're special manoeuvres or special events, like in Necromunda, but actually it's not. So it's like, once I learned that, it's like, oh well, I don't need that card pack then. Yeah,
there's a couple of people said that they've liked it, but other people in their gaming group haven't.
Yes, James Powledge, just said that.
And I think, we've only played one game, I haven't even played it, I've only watched it. But I do feel like, considering how hot GW are on their marketing and their FOMO and their kind of generating hype, they almost don't care about Aeronautica. They seem to do very little for it. But it seems to be like a really solid rule set, and a quick rule set. And what I particularly like about it is you get pretty much everything you need to play a good few games before you feel like you want to buy new planes.
Yeah.
Although the new planes are cool. And also, again, I guess if you play competitive, this may not be true, but I feel like the game is more driven by you buying what planes look ace, rather than what is going to be the strongest thing to have in the game. Do you know what I mean? So you can just buy a couple of planes that you want to add to your force, and there's no kind of
you have to have this or you're not going to win.
Yeah, there's no drive to make you buy stuff, and the release schedule is pretty slow. So that has that for it. But I'm just surprised at how little people know about the game. I have to say, I didn't even realise it wasn't a Forge World exclusive.
The funny thing, I guess, there is the fact that Underworlds, GW know it's popular. They're absolutely spewing out content for it left, right and centre, and we're all a bit bored of them throwing out so much stuff. And then we're sitting there with Underworld, with Aeronautica going, I don't know why they're not releasing more stuff for this. Because if they started doing that, we'd be like, oh,
Well,
fuck, I don't know.
I don't know about releasing, but they haven't. When they do release stuff, you don't hear much about it. It gets a thing on the pre-order page, and there might be an article on Warcom, but you don't see very much about the game.
Yeah,
really. I don't think. Yeah, maybe that is because they don't release so much. There just isn't as much to talk about, so they don't talk about it as much. Maybe it's that, but yeah.
Defcon C says, was the card pack not Ace Pilots or some such? It was called something like that, but it's effectively just the stat cards of the planes that you buy. There's no dramatic personas or anything like that. They're not special characters or special rules.
There might be some.
Oh, there? Okay.
There might be. I don't know because they do exist. We haven't got the. John's not in. He would tell us, but I feel like they're just reproductions of the stuff that you get in the source books.
That's what I mean. Yeah, there's nothing that you don't.
But they are. I think there are some special flying aces in those source books, as well as planes and missiles and things.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. There's nothing.
I don't think there's anything exclusive in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you get some little cards which I think have the weapon stats. Like if you upgrade somebody with a hunter killer missile, you have a little stat card in there with that, so you can put it on your card and then you can see what's going on. But there's nothing in those card packs that you don't get in the rule book already.
It seems pretty neat. So you're almost certainly going to be seeing some games. I bought a box. So you're almost going to see some more games. In fact, isn't there a game coming out this week, Pete? Your first one.
It will be coming out this Friday, hopefully, yes, or maybe Sunday. I'm not 100% sure.
Drop Bear says there were a couple of Ace Pilot cards in the packs, but all in the source books. Yeah. There you go. So have you played then, Drop Bear? Have you played?
Defcon says, keep an eye on Facebook. Guys painted the Space Marine ships as Night Lords. Looks really cool. The one thing I do like is because it, and he says here, themed around the Horus Heresy, because all the spaceships, all of the craft in it are kind of like Heresy era ships. You could paint them in pre-Heresy colours.
The Tau aren't they? But the Marines.
Not Tau, but no one likes Tau, so it doesn't matter. So you can play the Marines.
I'm going to play the Tau now, just because I can, and because I'm a communist.
That fits. For me, it's definitely the Orcs, and I really want to paint up some of the Marines in like Death Guard colours or something. But then the Guard ones, obviously, they don't have Marine colours, so I could just see painting them up in a real sort of World War II airplane set.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. There aren't actually very many Guard planes, but I am going to try and paint them in some sort of camo effect.
That would be pretty cool.
A couple of them come in this set here. Yeah, and Drop Bear says it's a great game, so hopefully you'll be looking forward to some Bat Raps Drop Bear. So at least you and John will be watching. John's watched our one that's been released on the Patreon channel.
Probably about 6 times. Many times, bless him. Trying to get those numbers up for us. I don't think he's going to make us millionaires on his own, but I'm sure he'll try. So yeah, definitely looking forward to playing some more of that. I wonder whether people just get bored with seeing, and I wonder if that's why Aeronautica isn't as pushed as some of their other games, in that for all their other games they have a lot more area that they can expand into, but with Aeronautica mostly the ships can only take up one hex. They have to be flying craft. They're not going to do Titans or tanks or things like that, so they are on a very limited plane, albeit it's a very large plane because it's multiple layers and it's in the air, but you know they're not...
say it's a limited plane.
But you know, it's only planes. That's all you're going to get.
Yeah.
So,
but like you say, they could do NIDs.
I would love for them to do NIDs, but they'd have to probably give them all completely their own set of sort of manoeuvres, because it's like they mostly could just fly whichever way they want. So yeah,
but it's got potential. But I do see what you mean. There are some ground stuff you can get, but they are Forge World, aren't they?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't know enough about it. I think that's part of the exciting thing, is that I don't know much about it. So it's a journey, isn't it? There is something interesting about finding out about a new game and then coming to hate it.
It's not like Underworlds where there's nothing surprising or new or exciting for us anymore. So it's just dead to us.
We're so old.
I'm just looking at the Aeronautica stuff to see if the ground things are purchasable. If they're GW ones or if they're Forge World ones.
While Pete's doing that, I'm going to ask a question. Is anybody here who's watching this evening, which is not a lot of you, 26 of you, any of you going to the Warhammer World Tournament in January for Underworlds?
Imperial Navy and Orc Wild ground assets are available on GW. Sorry, there we go.
Okay. Okay, came as GW plastic sets. Cool. And Dropmill says Chaos and Dark Eldar were cool in the first version of Aeronautica. I didn't realise this wasn't the first version of Aeronautica.
Yeah, I think the rule set in the first version was similarly pretty basic.
Right.
But it wasn't hex based. It was measuring.
Okay.
And then you had movement ruler things which had like curves on them and stuff, and that's how you placed it. But yeah.
Okay. Anthony Boyce says hopefully it'll be his first. Presumably that's his first tournament. Sorry, I kind of segued into the tournament.
Yeah.
We have about 25 minutes left, so I thought
Let's talk about that.
We'll talk about that.
Let's talk about tournaments.
Not that there's massive. I mean, the most interesting thing for me about the tournament was probably the fact that it told us when the new warbands were going to be out, or the new warband was going to be out.
Yeah, I'm really concerned we're going to see like John Grant's in. We just finished talking about Aeronautica Imperialis.
John, where were you?
Talking
about Aeronautica.
The thing I'm really worried about with this next tournament in January 2022 will be that we'll have a similar problem like we did with the very first Grand Clash, where Skellies came out on the same day, and then it was won by Rue, who was a GW employee and had obviously play tested them and then brought them to the event, and obviously nobody knew what the flip that they did, and he obviously won the tournament with them, and I can just see something like that happening with the Ogres.
Yeah. I think you might be right. It's hard to know, isn't it? I mean, there are people who are good players who are also playtesters. So it's hard to separate the two, but it is definitely a unfair playing field if you've already played with the new cards, even if you're not playing, because there's still some question mark to me over whether it's rivals or whether it's championship.
It's definitely championship.
Now,
it's definitely championship.
Having been almost definitely rivals.
I believe Nick Baton, someone said Nick had clarified on a post on Facebook that it was going to be championship somewhere. So
right. Yeah, I haven't seen that, but yes, I did. I saw somebody saying that Nick had clarified it, but I haven't seen the clarification.
Which I'm kind of disappointed about. Really, I would have much preferred it to have been like a rivals event to show that they, they actually cared about their new rivals format and wanted to try and push it.
Nick is doing a rivals format in Bugman's, but there were lots of people who were quite negative about the fact that it was rivals. So clearly, although they're pushing rivals on the Warcom, I don't think many existing keen players love it. But yeah, I mean, I won't be going in January. I'm sort of, I don't know, I'm just not going.
That's it. There's not really much to discuss there.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really that interested in going to a Champions event because I can't be bothered to try and come up with a deck and then just get pasted for 4 sets of best of 3s. It's
limited. I can't remember how many people. Is it 40 people? I think. I feel like I saw.
I think it is limited to 40. Yeah, £30.
So again, I think there are 40 people who probably enjoy it more than I will.
Yeah.
So I won't be going. It's quite brave, I think, holding an event in January. I'm sure everything's going to go belly up between now and then, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm not convinced that everything will be open come January in the UK, but I guess we'll find out.
We'll see.
It's kind of a shame because the 2 Grand Clashes we went to, I actually quite enjoyed them once I got into it.
I loved meeting everybody.
Yes, yeah, definitely like that more.
Games I could take or leave, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, I think I would go again to a tournament, and I don't really know whether I'm more likely to go to a rivals tournament or a championship tournament. I'm not sure.
I think I'd rather go rivals only because I know I can just pick up a warband and a deck and go with that. No, there's no pretense of have I built a good deck.
I think it might be tedious though because there's probably going to be 2 or 3 standout warbands and everybody will be taking those. Well, not everybody.
Well,
yeah, lots of people.
You say that. I think a lot of people would, yes, but then you know, you're only going to face them maybe once, and then you're going to be
Well,
languishing in the
then you'll
bottom.
be down playing the Chosen Axes.
Exactly.
That is true.
So there's that kind
Chosen
of
Axes
aspect.
Silent Menace deck. There's a that would be possibly the hardest thing in the world to win with.
It possibly could. Well, it depends. If you get the ones out that like kill somebody with your first activation and get 2 glory, and you've got fuel near the front, and somebody just gets a bit too close,
True.
You could be onto a winner.
But I think you've probably got almost no chance of inspiring any of them because there's no push cards or anything in the deck, is there?
Oh no, they have got that. They've got 2, I think. In fact, possibly 3.
Okay.
They've got the Earth Shakes one, which is you can either push one of yours or an opponent's fighter.
But you have to play with Silent Menace, won't you?
Oh shit, that's a good point. Yeah. Yeah. Fuck that.
Does £30 get you a meal in Bugman's? It doesn't get you a meal in Bugman's. They take you out to the canteen for the meal.
Yeah. Which wasn't bad, to be honest.
Oh, it was all right. Yeah, it was all right. But it's quite nice. Bugman's is nice too, but it's quite nice out the back. You feel somehow special's the wrong word, but it's kind of that's when the socialising
behind the scenes. Almost.
Yeah, it kind of feels quite nice behind there.
I mean, it's almost tempting to say, oh, okay, they've got a Grand Clash on this weekend. Let's just organise to go, and then meet people and play in Bugman's when people are off playing their games. Just do it that way.
Yeah, I feel a bit like that too.
And then if you get, you know, if after the second set of games are played or the third set of games are played, and you're like, actually I can't be bollocks to play any more games, you can just sit there and chat to people. Said you haven't got to go. I've got to go and play some more games now. There's none of that.
Yeah, I'd just happily go and eat a burger and just chat to people about Underworlds.
Yeah, Rosa says he's going to do the Rivals Clash. Do you mean like the one in Bugman's Bar in the evening?
Skirmish.
The skirmish thing.
Yeah, if I lived near Nottingham, I'd be more tempted to do that than go to the tournament, I think.
Yeah, I would possibly, because the other good thing about it is if you go during a Grand Clash, is obviously you could play some games in Bugman's Bar in the first set of games, then you get like a half an hour break, and then during the second set of games when everyone's playing, you could maybe go off and have a wander around the exhibit and stuff.
Yeah, true.
Just go and check out some stuff, maybe buy.
Because when we've been, I don't think we actually made it to the exhibit, did we? Because
we did once. I think the very first time, not the Grand Clashes.
Yeah, no, the clashes when it was included in the ticket.
Yeah,
the clashes, and then but we never
actually.
I don't know whether it includes it in the ticket for this one because that's another. You're getting that on for your £30 as well, though you have literally no time to go round.
yeah, that is the problem there. But yeah, I'd be more tempted just to say, okay, there's a Grand Clash. If anybody wants to meet up in Bugman's Bar on that day, I'll be there and I'll maybe take some. Yeah. Of course, the other problem would be that if I was going to go, if we both decide to go, I actually would need to buy a copy of Harrowdeep because I don't have one. Don't frankly see any reason.
Awkward as well if you were saying, "I'll meet anybody want to meet me in Bugman's Bar, I'll be there," and then nobody comes to meet us. That would be awkward as well. Just sitting there.
I'm sure we'd have a few.
Sitting there playing Dead Zone.
Rosa says he has a spin-off Harrowdeep question if we have time for it. Go for it,
yeah,
Rosa.
Go for it, Rosa.
We've got 10-15 minutes still.
Well, it depends how long it is. But yeah, go for it.
If anybody's got any questions, fire them out any time.
Always happy to answer questions, even about complex Bitcoin investments, because I know all about that now. About spam comments earlier.
Wonder if they've left any more. I'm going to go check YouTube out.
I haven't seen any.
I did like the fact they'd hooked it up as well, so somebody else replied to his comment and stuff.
Yeah, very clever. Then somebody else said, "Oh, this guy's really cool. He knows what he's talking about." Worse to that effect.
Or something like that.
It was very clever. We're waiting with bated breath for your question, Rosa.
We're waiting, Rosa. Although it's a bit unfair because there's like a 30-second delay between us saying it and then him responding. And
I've now got that cat typing meme in my head, which is my current favourite GIF.
See just looking to see what other comments we've had. No new comments since.
No new comments.
Of course, the internet makes no sense to me.
How does the objective feature token change affect cards that need specific objective numbers? For example, Shifting Madness for Grimwatch. Well, they can't score it, so I don't know if you know the rule exactly. Basically, they all start face down, so you can't. So the Gloom tokens start face down, so you can't see what number is which.
But you
have to delve in the power step to flip them over.
But you can. Sorry, go on.
I was saying you will know where 2 or 3 of them are, depending on which ones you paste, because you can see you're allowed to look what you've put down. So if for shifting madness is the one with the round. You have to score the one with the round chart. So if you knew where 2 was and it was round 2, you could make a beeline for it, delve it, but then you have to stay on it for the next turn, because you can't score. That's a score at the end of activation, isn't it? Shifting madness.
Yeah.
But as long as you're standing on it the following turn, then you can score it then.
If you
so
know you've got,
that's how it would work. So you still the numbers are still there. They're just hidden until you've delved in the power step.
If you know that you've got maybe 2, and that's all you've got, you just put that one right in your backfield. So you know, second round, if I've got Shifting Madness, I can then wander over to that one fairly safely, and then delve it, and then score it the next turn.
Yeah. Or even delve it early on.
Yeah. So although keeping it flipped sometimes is helpful.
Yeah, I don't know. Yes, it probably is. I could see reasons for both, but yes, because if you stand on it and delve it straight away, then people, I don't know. But yes, you. If you delve it earlier and then stand on it later, then you will score the objective straight away without having any chance to knock you off, as it were.
Not to blow our own trumpet, but do check out our differences videos that we did, because there are a lot of little changes in there now. Like when you're placing your objectives, you can't put the 5th objective marker on an edge unless there is nowhere else possible to go. It has to go somewhere else on the board unless there's no other option, which wasn't the case, in all previous seasons. And another thing is that in the power step, your opponent gets to go first and play a power step card first before you can.
I can see that getting completely confused at the first tournaments of Harrowdeep.
Yeah, because I can see you sort of going in to do a charge or something like that, knocking someone off an objective, and think, right, now I'm going to play sidestep or something like that. And then your opponent goes, well, actually, I can go first, so I'm just going to play sidestep and sidestep back onto the objective you thought you knocked me off of or whatever. So that's, could be quite a big thing.
Yeah, definitely.
So, there you go. I don't know if anybody else has any other questions. If not, we're probably going to just sort of try and tread water for the next 10 minutes.
Did you see, Pete, there was a little tournament in Seattle, I think, 6 warbands, I think it was, and the Blade Coven won 3-0. Rivals as well.
So that was interesting. That one. Worms back were dead last twice, weren't they? Was that a different one?
That was a different one.
Okay.
It was Gits with Silent Menace were dead last in this one. Not surprisingly,
because they were playing. I can see why that might be the case. Although out of everybody, I would have thought Gits might be one of the better placed warbands to try and score that one.
Possibly, I think the Silent Menace deck is just shit.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah, but Rosa, I think you're right, Rosa. I think that in this version, it's harder and more tedious to score specific numbered objectives and scoring stand-on objectives anyway, because of the fact that you have to delve them and then you have to be standing on them for another round. But I think that's partially intentional, because I think
the break down temporary victory and that kind of stuff. Not that they exist in the game anymore.
Yeah, but there'll be similar things. I think Grimwatch really did highlight during season 3 just how overpowered objective holding can be if you don't have any controls on it at all.
No. Well, yes. No, I agree.
By no, I mean yes, but no.
Yeah. John's asked me, have I built any little planes yet? No, I have not, John. I've been painting my bird, from which I forgot to paint, from Truth Seekers. So that I finished that today. I'm actually painting a couple of Marvel Crisis Protocol models, or one actually. A couple is an exaggeration. I'm painting Dr. Octopus. And then, but maybe tomorrow I might build a plane or 2.
Don't forget when you spray the planes to bung the hole with blue tack, so as to not bugger them up.
With blue tack.
So as to not bugger it up.
Blue tack in my bung hole.
Yes. So that you don't end up spraying the hole and then you can't fit the pegs in properly.
Okay. Yes.
Also, make sure you don't spray the bases if you've already assembled them.
I see what you're saying.
Anybody who's not familiar with Aeronautica bases, they're a hex and they have little twiddly dials on either side, but you have to assemble it. So it's best to paint it before you assemble it.
Oh yeah. I actually assumed that they would slide in, but they're actually all they're all it's integral. They come like that.
Oh, do they come like that to start with?
Mm.
Oh, that's quite cool. But also a pain
I
in the ass
assumed
to paint.
like a Fantasy Flight thing where you slid it in and but they're in there.
I would
So
have
if you
thought,
sprayed them, you'd ruin it.
yeah, you have to be very careful with your blue tacking to make sure you don't.
Yes, you
Yeah.
could put a blue tack it.
Yeah, you'd have to.
How did you do yours, John? How did you prime them?
I bet
Bases.
that Nutter painted them all manually by hand because he's crazy. And of course, the flying things are all clear plastic as well, so you have to.
Oh, he says you have to take the base apart to spray them. So there you go. They do
Ah.
come apart. I haven't investigated that.
You could also then put a little bit of oil in the joins when you put it back together, so that they turn a bit easier because they are quite stiff.
Don't bugger the bunghole on your plane, or your plane won't wobble. There you go. Try and avoid buggering any bungholes while building the planes.
Don't bugger your bung holes, or else you're just no hope at all. No peg's going to go in there otherwise. So there you go. What a note to finish on.
Well, yeah, we've still got 10 minutes, so we can really make anal sex innuendo for the next 9 minutes.
You're just taking it too far now.
Sorry.
Ruined it. One thing I was quite interested in is on the page where they talk about Blackbeard and his crappy pirate audience, or whatever they're called, is that there is a picture of a load of the warbands, and for some reason you've got like all of the season 4 warband leaders in there. So there's Kanan, and there's Kagra, and there's the vampire. All of them are in there, and then also for some reason there's Morgok from Morgoth's Crushers. There's Sepsimus, and there's the Snake Lady from the Blade Coven. Just these random 3 guys just sort of turned up in the shot. just randomly turned up, posed for a little reunion photo, and then everyone else is looking at the pictures after going, "Fuck's that guy?" I don't know. It's just Sepsimus at the back going, "Hey."
It's
what?
me.
What are you even doing? And Morgok's right at the front. He's managed to elbow his way to the front, and everyone's like, "Who's he? I don't know. Just let him in the shot." Like, why are all these people in here? Makes no sense. I mean, if they were going to mix out, they could at least pick some fighters from like season 1 and 2 and 3. But they're just these random 3. Just remember sitting time thinking, that's very odd. Why have they done that?
Well,
Bruce Close says...
exciting to Pete's brain there that I think none of us needed.
No one at all. It was one of the things where the photo looked absolutely fine to start with, and then my brain just sort of went, hang on, why is that like that?
Yeah, I think I'm just most upset that they're called the Buccaneer, the
Black Powder's Buccaneers.
Buccaneers. I mean, it's like, oh.
And there's very little piratiness around it. I have to say, the pirate level on this warband is like a 5 at best. Because you've got 2 Noblars. Alright, one's got a wooden peg leg. The other one's holding a rope with a grappling hook on. Mild piratiness at best. Then there's a monkey with a knife. It's not even got an eye patch, so get lost. The other one's like a sort of parrot thing, but it's got claws on its wings, so it's not even really just a parrot. It's more like a dinosaur. Yeah.
I've got nothing for you. I've got nothing for you, I'm afraid. It is on quite a cool skeleton skull. I quite like that.
Yeah, it's okay.
I'm generally a bit annoyed. I think I turned my heater off a little bit too early. I'm bloody freezing now. I can't see what temperature it is, but it's bloody freezing. My feet are ice blocked.
Well, I think in the interests of Robin's health and safety, I think John Grant says the monkey should have a powder keg or something. There should be something. There could be anything more.
Drums.
Anything could have been made.
Could have drums or little cymbals.
Anything could have made that warband more piratey, and it's just not.
Bruce started playing another Australian. He's called Bruce. He started playing Dread Zone, and a few nights ago it's a good game. Well, we're hoping to bring some Dead Zone to.
Bloody hell! If he started a few nights ago and he's still playing it, I mean that's a long game.
Yeah, that is a long game. You're recording it. That sounds like one of our games.
It's definitely on our list of things to see. Yeah, what?
We are playing Marvel Crisis Protocol this week. Our first full game. We're not playing it with Lego. We're playing it with actual minis.
Ooh, but it's still going to be on a Lego board.
Yes, it's still going to be a Lego board. Yeah. So there you go. So we're playing that with we're having our guest star, Matt from As Was Into the Glory Hole, which I think is having a hiatus at the moment.
Yeah.
He's coming to play. He's on a course somewhere. He's not watching us. It must be a good course somewhere local. So he's going to come into the studio and play. I'll warm it up a little bit for him. It's a bit chill. And he can sign our table. If you do get to come and play in the studio, you can sign our table now. Just got John's signature here. And John came to play Aeronautica.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to getting more patrons into the studio and get more games with other people in, because variety is the spice of life, as they say.
Yeah, try to say that to my wife. She wasn't having it.
And there we go.
She said, "We'll go tidy up the spice cupboard then."
So yes, he is in Guildford, John. We were trying not to say anything, just to keep the mystique going, make it sound more.
In case they somebody hunts him down in Guildford.
So there we go. That's us done for tonight. I hope you can join us next time. If you haven't yet, do give us a thumbs up. Do follow us. Ring that bell so that you get notifications when we bring out new videos, because that is a big problem these days. YouTube won't pretty much tell you we've done anything unless you ring that bell. So yeah, please do.
Or even then, possibly not.
Even then, possibly not.
Yeah. So thank you everybody for listening. We've rambled on for more than enough time. I don't know what next week's going to be about. GW need to give us some more ammo.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see you soon.
Yep, I'll see you soon. Maybe at the Harrowdeeps. Well,
it's Matt. Matt's just arrived. Hello, Matt. He's late. Well, I was just commenting on the fact that you weren't here, that you must be having fun wherever you were this evening, because you weren't here. He's in Guildford. Hello, I'm in Guildford. Guess where I'll be tomorrow? Guildford.
Because tomorrow's Wednesday, Matt. Don't fuck it up.
Don't come on Wednesday.
Matt's going to be turning up tomorrow at Robin's. Hello. What are you doing here?
Yeah, I will be here, but I won't be playing games.
It's a good thing you made that joke. In case Matt's now going, oh shit. So yes, thank you for joining, even if you are like Matt and joined us very, very late.
Yeah.
Well saved, Matt. Well saved. Guess where Matt will be on Thursday? Not Guildford. Well, I think for some of Thursday he'll be in Guildford, I guess. Cause it's not like he's going to be at Robin's from like 8 in the morning.
Right here.
Right where Robin's sitting.
Studio. Very exciting. Bring your slippers, Matt. Bring your slippers.
Don't forget your slippers.
One of the rules of entry. If you haven't got slippers, you're not coming in.
I bought a brand new pair of slippers just to leave at Robin's.
I'd say I'll wear them, but they won't fit.
No, I have tiny feet.
He has them packed. Excellent.
Right, well, that's enough nonsense. I think it's time for us to say goodnight, adieu, and everybody stay well, and we'll see you soon.
See you. Bye.
Bye.